Vanishing plane. This was in the 90s when I was in college. I had no classes one afternoon and I went home early. It was a perfect September day, beautiful weather and not a cloud in the sky. My walk home from the bus stop was about half a mile. I lived off campus in a residential neighborhood that was mostly empty during the day when people were at work and school, giving me plenty of time for quiet reflection. So it was notable when, about a block from my house, I crossed paths with a guy raking leaves in his front yard. Just then, I heard a screeching noise in the sky. I looked up and saw what looked like a passenger jet followed by a contrail. Nothing unusual about it other than this sound. It was like 10x a normal passing jet noise, and it grew so loud it seemed to fill the air down to the ground and whirl around us. It was crazy. Then, in an instant, the plane vanished right before my eyes, and the noise abruptly stopped without an echo, a boom, nothing, silence. The contrail just hung there slowly dissipating. The guy had stopped raking and was looking up in the sky too. He looked back down at me, and I could tell by his face that we'd seen and heard the exact same thing. Then, he shrugged his shoulders and went back to his task. I passed silently and went home. That's it. This happened a number of years ago, and I had mostly forgotten about it until I started reading this subreddit. On Sundays, I would go to our local IHOP and get individual breakfasts for the family, 4 members. On one such trip, the routine was uneventful. The order was called in, and I arrived at the restaurant to pick it up. There was usually a 10 to 15-minute wait. They were always busy on Sunday with after-church groups going out to eat, and this day was no exception. I was given my order, paid for it, and then proceeded to return home. I got home, and we began separating the breakfast containers to place on the table. The table was adjacent to the kitchen area, separated by a counter that jutted out toward the middle of the room between the kitchen and dining area. Both are open, with no wall between them, just the counter. Each of the breakfast containers were removed from the order bags and placed on this counter before moving them to the table. Since we usually didn't immediately eat the pancakes that were included with the breakfasts, I took each pair of them from the 4 breakfast containers, 8 pancakes in total, and placed them all in a single container, closed it, and left it on the counter. My wife saw me do this. Once that was done, I sat down with my family members and began to eat. About 20 minutes later, after we had finished eating, we got up and began picking up the to-go containers. As I turned around to the counter, getting ready to put the single container of pancakes away, I stopped in my tracks. The 8 pancakes, which I had combined 20 minutes before, were all back in their individual containers. Considering we were all at the table, and the pancakes were less than 5 feet away and directly behind me on the counter, there was no explainable way to how they were all moved back into their individual containers. There were no unexpected sounds. It was mid-morning, so there was plenty of light in the room, and there were no extra people in the house. To this day, we cannot explain how this happened. I think I experienced my first glitch today. Someone sent me a food basket as a holiday gift. Inside, there was a jar of honey. I love honey, so I immediately opened it and ate a spoonful. Later that night, I went to grab the honey again. I twist off the lid, and there's a protective seal on it, the kind that you have to peel off the first time you open it. I don't know if I'm losing it, or if this is some kind of strange glitch, but there's no way I could have missed that seal when I opened it the first time. It was definitely gone before. Another glitch happened today. Math lectures just finished, ironically matrices as a subject, and I went to go to the bathroom. After I finished, I went to go to my car, which was parked directly in front of the building. On my way out, I had to go through a long corridor with windows on the side, from which I could see my car on the left. When I was halfway through the hallway, I noticed some women opening the secretary's office door and walking to the exit, which is on the left side of the hallway. I noticed her opening the door and going through. About 10 seconds later, I opened the door to go to my car, but there was no one left. After that, I walked fast to the street, looked right and left, but no one was there. Besides, not enough time had passed that the woman could have gone there. She had to be somewhere on the way to the street, in front of the building. Nope, no one there. I have experienced this kind of things before, and they really freak me out. Is it a glitch? Which kind of glitch? Does this avatar, the woman, still remains conscious but isn't visible to some people? Is she teleported away and thinks that she was just dreaming or something? Or maybe it's not a glitch, but I somehow misremembered. Or like the man in the high castle, travelers through realities. This sounds very odd, and I won't consider myself crazy. I'm just telling what I saw. This happened about 45 minutes ago, and I thought I could write it in this Reddit and maybe I get an answer. Do you know what could have happened?